Good morning, traders. Are you guys ready for another day of live trading right here? You know where you're at, live trading with Benzinga. Let's get after it. Let's see if we can come up with a nice little trade today.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Those words have been dancing around my head all night. I mean, it's Vegas lore, that phrase.
All right, traders, how we doing out there? Let's get right back into the markets. Are you guys ready? Let me know in the chat. Let me know your top stock to watch today. What's on your radar? I know I was watching one this morning. We'll talk a little bit about it, and we'll bring Ryan on in just a second. I wanted to take a look at Qualcomm. Of course, they reported news with Apple this morning, so let me give you that news. It looks like, of course, deal not over. Partnership not over, at least, as Qualcomm announced that they will supply Apple with 5G modems for their smartphones through 2026, solidifying their ongoing partnership. And some were thinking that Qualcomm was going to lose this. Well, this morning, as it pulled back to 111, I'm not going to lie, a little part of me wanted to buy 111s this morning. So I'm going to look to see if we can get back through that level, maybe going towards 110 and then looking for Qualcomm to turn around. We'll see what happens on Qualcomm. Apple also on the radar, of course, their event coming up. I talked about how going into the event, I was looking for the stock to run. I even traded it on a swing trade for a little bit of this action, and I was able to take some profits at 189 from 186. But look how quickly we came back to the daily support, now bouncing off of that level. Will we get back over 180, 181? Those are the levels that I'd be looking at right now. We're still ways away from that at 178. So I think we could at least attempt towards that 180 today and continuing to 181. You can see right now in the pre-market, we made a high of 180.81. So let's see if it can hold 180 on pullbacks now and then take out 181 and 182 for some upside action. We'll see what happens there in Apple. My swing trades right now are in leisure and airlines. I have Norwegian Cruise Lines from 1653. So technically in the red right now. We'll see what happens on Norwegian. And then American Airlines back at 14 today. We'll see if it can start holding 14 and reversing the transaction that we've been seeing as of late, which is just a downside action in the airlines. Can they start to turn around? We'll see what happens there in American Airlines. All right, let's go ahead. We're going to bring on my man. You guys know him, Ryan Faloona in the house. How we doing, Ryan? It's good to have you on, my friend.
All right. Well, we are back at it for another week. Glad football is back, but my team is already in the toilet and the season's over. So
don't worry, Ryan. You want to know what
we're going to have to focus on the drama of the season, I'm afraid.
You want to know what my name is on fantasy football right now? You ready for this one?
I'm ready.
Injured reserve. That's my name right now because two of my best players are on injured reserve already. So it's just like, man, before they started the season going on injured reserve, I drafted Cooper Kupp and just got cupped myself. But hey, what can I do, man? Just got to roll with the punches. And hopefully by week 4, we see some positives. So what I'm doing here is trying to be optimistic about what can come. And we'll just have to find out, right? Battle through the ways. Definitely lost my first week. But that's life, right? I mean, hey, we got to keep battling. Just like in trading, we're going to have some ruts and we're going to have some red weeks. All we can do is what? Get back on the horse, maybe slow things down a little bit, but trying to get back into the green is what we're all about, right?
And speaking of positives, you were talking earlier about the QCOM news note for Apple. Yeah. Remember, one of the things that they had said is that they weren't going to supply Apple any longer. I believe they said that in the earnings call. I believe it was the CEO that said that in the earnings call. So interesting to see the about face here. Market trading up on that news. So we'll see where this ends up going here today.
Awesome.
There is a gaggle of birds outside.
Oh, hold on a second. We lost you. Somehow I lost your mic there.
I think it was me hitting the hardware
The mute button.
We have a gaggle of birds outside, and my bird is trying to participate, so I apologize for the background noise here.
Oh, no worries, Ryan. I actually got a nice little tip for that. I'll help us out with that after.
Let's do it.
I think I have a way of at least bringing it down a little bit.
Sweet. Let's do the noise gate. I've got one built in, but I'm interested to hear what you have here. Now, looking at the SPY, it certainly looks like, especially with the momentum that we have here this morning, that the SPY wants to kind of trade up this week. I want to see that materialize. I think that judging by today, I think that's probably where we're going to go, but I'm going to be very, very careful about that. I'm not going to go too much into that. And I kind of want to just wait and see if this is what happens. If we test 453 and break it to the upside, I think we go to 460. I think that's pretty much a lock. Come on, man. I'm by myself. Give me a break. We do have some stocks to trade here today. NBY, this is going to be one of the first ones. This was a penny stock last week. We are actually above $1. We actually traded above $1.30 today. This was up over 130 or over 100% at one point. Nova Bay Pharmaceutical shares are trading higher after the company granted BioStem Technologies, that's an OTC company, by the way, the right to commercialize tissue. I'm not even going to read some of these words. I'm just going to embarrass myself. So it looks like this is an eye treatment. Sorry, folks. Struggling over here. Struggling this morning. So anyway, NBY, this actually looks like a pretty good play here today. This should be pretty short-lived. We'll see what happens when the market actually opens. But as long as we can hold VWAP here, maybe even build above VWAP and go towards the highs, we should have a pretty good trade here. CRNX, this is a big pop. In fact, our chart's not even really showing it all that well here today. CRNX, let me see if I can... we're trading up pretty. I don't know why I don't have pre-market data here. Let me go into here and let's make this full screen. There we go. Now we'll take a look at this. Now we'll do it correctly, folks. CNRX here. We had a piece of news here on CNRX today. The shares are trading higher for the company once daily oral treatment achieved the primary and secondary endpoints in the phase 3 study. So remember, phase 3 sometimes a sell the news event. However, today looking pretty good on CNRX. We popped. This stock was, what was this? Like 15, 16 bucks last week, popped $10 here today. So one of the things I want to see on this stock is, do we actually continue or do we kind of come back in a little bit? I wouldn't be shocked to see us come back in a little bit. So I don't want to take this right out of the gate. I actually want to wait for this to firm up and give us a good opportunity to take it instead of just kind of going after it. So CNRX definitely going to be on the list here today, but I'm okay waiting this one out. I don't need to go after this right out of the gate. Let's go back to Pro here real quick. Oops, you don't want that. Jeez. Oh, we had the full screen there. This is what we need to go back to. Okay. Next here is going to be Twink, TWNK. This is, of course, Hostess Brands. Hostess Brand shares are trading higher after J.M. Smuckers announced it will acquire the company. So don't really think there's going to be a trade here. Twinkie acquired. If you're in it, awesome. Maybe have a Twinkie to celebrate here today, but don't really think we're going to have a whole lot of trading going with Twink or TWNK into the day here today. PSTV, this is Plus Therapeutics. We've actually traded this one before. Now, this is popping here in the pre-market, but again, let's take a look at where it was previously, right? Look at the day it had on Friday. Really, really awful trading day on Friday. We did have some news here that regarding some of their cancer treatments. Market really didn't like it. Got a $1.9 million payment here today. It's popping, but be careful. I don't know that this is. I wait for this to set up, and I would have really tight stops on this. If you're going to trade this to the upside today, don't be afraid to take the gains when you have them on this. This I know it's bouncing now. This bounce could be relatively short-lived. On the other end of that, if somehow this actually catches here, we have a pretty decent range. So there could be a really nice upside trade in here. But remember, you just watch this. Be on top of this one. Let's try to not gamble. If you don't feel like you have a good setup, let's look for setups that might be a little bit easier to trade. Last week, we saw a huge move in the cannabis names, and we're actually seeing more strength here today. So one of the things that I want to see, I don't have any positions in any of the cannabis names. I would like to trade them. I would like to trade them longer term, but let's see if this is going to be another week for it. They're often volatile, and what I'd really like to see is maybe some consolidation here before taking the next leg up. I'm worried about seeing something just continually go up and then come back in, and I want to see some consolidation. I want to see that firm up a little bit. So we'll see if we get that with some of the cannabis names. CGC, the one that is on the list here today. There was the piece of news from this morning here. Canopy Growth reminds shareholders to cast their votes for the upcoming annual general and special meeting. So if you hold that, be sure to cast your votes. Unsure why that's causing it to pop 11% here today. Next is going to be BLRX, and this actually popped a lot higher. It's come all the way back in. As a result, we're still about 22 cents away from the VWAP, so pretty decent range here. We did have a catalyst here. BioLine RX shares are trading higher after the FDA approved the company's Effexta Plus. I'm not going to go into these medical names. I just can't. I just can't do it. So we got a PR here. It's really popped and dropped, but we've actually seen it with some of these plays before. We've actually seen this end up working. So don't necessarily go at it right out of the gate. Let's wait for it to firm up. Let's see how it goes before we end up trading these. So that's all I've got from the list here today. Let's see what else was the chat saying here. Good morning, Gil. I think that's Gil behind the Trade the Pool name. Great to see you here this morning along with everybody else. Hopefully you had a great weekend. Waiver wires, you got this. Actually, my fantasy team's not in horrific shape, Ricky. So Ricky Bobby, by the way, great handle. Not really worried about my fantasy teams. I didn't crap the bed in week one for that. It's my real team that is really, really depressing. Becca saying that the green industry looks up again this morning. That is true. That is true. And we'll see how long that actually goes for.
All right, guys. What's going on out there, team?
I was looking. I didn't actually see really any other tickers here. Uber being called a Ponzi scheme as it's trading up. I don't know about all that. Bill was mentioning Fortinet earlier. I'm not sure. I want to believe the cybersecurity theme, but it's just outside of PanW, been really, really difficult to really see some consistent gains in there. I'm not sure that I believe that just yet. Mitch, what are you thinking?
Me?
Yeah, I think he's wondering if you're getting started early.
What am I drinking? I am on Naked Berry Blast. Just getting a little bit of some smoothie action this morning. Hey, mixing it up a little bit, right? Got to mix it up sometimes. But one thing, of course, I'm ready to get after it. Of course, trade the pool. Let's see how I can do this week. And if you're not already signed up, I would definitely check it out. And you can get the morning emails. The morning emails are pretty interesting. If you guys haven't seen their emails before, they send a before the opening email every day that has different outlooks. It has hot stocks. It has outlooks even on new things that they're adding, pictures of the day, kind of a technical outlook, trading examples, of course, by Michael Kratz. And I'm looking forward to having Michael Kratz on soon enough. Of course, the CEO. You guys got to see the Tesla trade last week. Remember that example as we were ending the day, and I thought that was really good. We're going to keep bringing up more and more examples from their YouTube. And if you guys don't already know, at the top of Trade the Pool, you can actually access the YouTube really quickly from the top now at Trade the Pool Tools. And that can also get you to your dashboard if you're needing to check out things like, of course, how much you need to get towards your profit target and things like that. So definitely check it out. Nice little features that are added at the top of Trade the Pool. And of course, check out the YouTube. The YouTube has a lot for you guys to check out. We want to get them some more subscribers. So go ahead, guys, drop it in there. Give them a nice little follow. I'm going to drop the link in just a second for you guys to give them that nice little follow. But like always, one thing that I would tell you guys to check out here is not necessarily just kind of some of these videos, but check out the funded traders, their stories. Check out some facts right here, right? Learn about how kind of it works. And then if you want trading examples, it's there for you also. And then, of course, you guys can check out the partners that you guys can be getting after and checking out. And then there's also some podcasts. So if you guys like just want to talk about growing small accounts, a trader over the shoulder. These are pretty interesting podcasts. I've checked them out myself. I enjoy them. Biggest trading loss, things like this. These are the stories that can really teach you so that you guys can learn and maybe not have a big trading loss of your own, right? We'll see what happens. Let's get to the markets. Let's see what stocks are being traded today. Lynn talking about Pan W. That's not a bad one, of course. That's the leader. That's nothing wrong with taking a look at that one. We'll see what happens today. Which stocks can get the lift? Cannabis stocks had been so strong. Will they start to turn around? That's one thing that I'm thinking about. Because I don't know how much really they're going to be able to push deschedulization for the end of this year and going into next year. So I don't know if they're really going to be able to get that done. So with that being said, this trade could be almost done. So I'm keeping an eye on it. Like, let's say MSOS. This morning, we get a little bit of a popping action, but it's near the highs, right? $9 has been acting as a high. Can we get back through $9 today? Or will we cut back down towards 8? These are stocks that definitely on my radar.
One more I wanted to cover here real quick, Mitch, before we go back to you there.
My friend.
Let's talk about VK. Oops. Was that both of us doing it?
Yep,
okay.
You know it.
Let's talk about VKTX. This is a stock that we've actually talked quite a bit about recently. I know that there were a lot of you folks in here trading the equity on a regular basis. We were trading this, I think, the first time right in here, I believe, maybe middle of August. That feels about right. And it really kind of sold off. The interesting thing, if we take a look at this hourly chart, we're really kind of running into this area here, the 16.5 to 17 area, which is really kind of proven to be some sticky resistance. A break through this, I think we maybe even go to 18 or even test 20. So what's notable about this is that I actually, the last time that we talked about this, I took some lotto calls for this, took it small. I think I only had 2 contracts, so I really didn't even spend a whole lot of money. They went down to minus 99%. I had written them off. They're actually back now, only down about 60%. They're the 17 calls. The stock's at 1623, was as high as 1670 in the pre-market. So VKTX here, we'll see if this bails me out of my own trade, but more than just the own trade here, if we actually break out of this area, maybe we end up going higher here on VKTX. So interesting to note, just kind of looking at the formation here, we'll see where this ends up going. With my own trade here, because this pretty much went to minus 100%, if I get back to even, and I'm really close to the expiry, they expire this week. If I get back to even, I'll probably just take that off and consider it, a trade for flat. So it was a lotto. It really wasn't a whole lot. So unless this is really kind of showing the impetus to move higher, I'll just take what I can get back on this one.
All right.
Yeah. And Jay, this is one of the thesis that we talked about earlier. VKTX competes with NVO and the Lilly fat drug. This is the Ozempic, Mounjaro, Wegovy type thing. This is the semaglutide. That was part of the thesis here. So it can move. It's got it. We'll see if it ends up doing it. I don't know that it's going to. We'll see.
All right, let's keep going. There's a lot on the outlook, and there's also that CRNX stock. Did you talk about that one today?
I did. Briefly. I would say go back into it.
All right, so CRNX. Let me see if it's available here, and of course, it is available on Trade the Pool. Trade the Pool has over 12,000 stocks for you guys to check out. So that's VKTX also available. Just to let you know, Ryan. So keep your eyes on those names. Of course, they are tradable for us today, and you guys can always add these to like a watch list if you guys want to keep an eye on it. I don't know. We might need to just start building a watch list. I've been using the gainers and losers list on the bottom right to try to find some big movers. Of course, you guys can always do that. I like how it has like volume already implemented for these searches because I'm always looking for greater than 1 million in shares traded and then price over 10. That's kind of my game, right? So we'll see what happens today. Soxal in play. Of course, I'm looking at Qualcomm for kind of quick pullbacks here. And you guys can see it's actually just pulled back right now, went back towards that 111. I'm looking for a slight tick down here out the gates, but it could just take off right out the gates. So we'll see what happens, guys. Not much time left. About 41 seconds here till we open. Let's get ready, team. Let's see what we can come up with. And CRNX is positive phase 3 data. And let's take a look at the kind of the the outlook for that. So CRNX, let me see how I see it right now. Of course, we've taken off from this lower pattern. I'd look for a slight dip down like you got here where you cut through 21 and then you recovered it. I'd look for the same kind of candle look at 24. So a slight cut through 24 and a recovery through 24 is what I'll be looking for on CRNX. And what about the Twinkies, man?
Now, that's what I said. If you had it, eat one in celebration, but I don't know that there's a new trade coming from that. That's
Hostess. Now that's the stuff, man. Tesla could continue higher today, of course. I think this is also moving on UAW outlooks. Stellantis is one that I'm actually looking to potentially short. And I like this outlook just because at the end of the day, it's just hanging up here on the daily while Ford and GM have really gotten to take down. So we'll see what happens on Stellantis if it can start moving down today. This is actually one that I'll be looking on my outlook for short side action. All right, out the gates here, going to pay attention to the banks, going to pay attention to Qualcomm, see what happens. Let's see what we get here. Slight dip through the 111s, already recovering there on Qualcomm. This could take off here. So I might even take a shot right here, right out the gates. All right, dragging a little bit here.
I'm waiting a little bit out of the gates here. But I'll let you know.
The only one I want to play here, maybe that I take a shot in, is like Qualcomm. Let's see if I can get a pullback here to 110.70s and then move back up. And you can see we just went through 110.60s. So I'm looking for 110.70s to hold up here. And that's kind of off of the daily candle here. Now we're holding this 111. Can we take 112s? Just keeping a close eye here. All right, now starting to trickle down here. I'm also keeping an eye on stocks like Adobe and Apple. Will those remain strong? Because if they can't, then maybe we just see a drag on today. Apple red to start the day, trying to bounce off of 180.
VKTX big pull right out of the gate here. Interestingly enough, banks higher out of the gate. So I'm not sure what to make of that, frankly.
Okay, here's that pullback here for Qualcomm. Now back towards that 110.50s area. Now going back towards 110 here. So I kind of like this outlook as we start going back towards the 110. There we go, 110 coming into play. Just grabbed a little bit on that cut down. Grabbed 20 shares at 109.99 here. Willing to add down towards 109 and then hold off of 108s today. So I just got a starter there on Qualcomm. Going to keep adding here in about 20 shares. Let's see if I could work my way down towards 109 now, and then 108s being the risk.
NBY, really nice bounce off the VWAP here. Just kind of trying to wait this out. I ended up not taking it, but NBY working here. In fact, might even peel a little bit. If you took any of this at the VWAP as your entry, I'd peel some here. About to go through highs. 132, your day high there, or your pre-market high there. We'll see if that snaps.
All right, really want to see this recover like 110.38. So let's see if this can start recovering 110.38. All right, I want to see if Apple can recover and come right back up for a push. Apple could really help me get this market back up. Keeping an eye out also on the Qs. The Qs are going stronger there. So that's an interesting one. One that got flushed down out the gates that looked weak there was NVAX. But keeping an eye on other stocks here also.
NBY didn't take that high a day spot yet, but it's maintaining its strength here. I think that this might not be done.
All right, I'm up about 50 cents here on Qualcomm. I'm going to look to add in a little bit.
Jay, given how the football went for me, this was my highlight of the weekend yesterday, was that entire thing, that entire sequence. Novak winning and that entire sequence was one of the most hilarious things I saw this week. I'm with you on that. NBY reversing here. It'll be interesting to see if this comes into the... All right, coming back down to the VWAP. Now, we'll see if this holds here on NBY. If it does, or maybe even goes a cent or two below, this had some strength to the upside. So just kind of want to monitor and see how it trades. Looks like it's trying to bounce already. Don't be sucked into this, though. Don't get trapped into this into the long side. Wait for your entry. If you don't get it and it goes away from you, it is what it is.
Yeah, keeping an eye on like JPM to see if the banks go red today. Of course, that's one outlook that I've been keeping an eye out for. And then I also saw RTX take a major hit down today, and it's dragging even more. That might actually start destroying this kind of XLI trade. So be careful there in the industrial sector. I'm seeing at least defensive names take a big hit. Deere is giving me an attempt back down to 400 today, and that could be something that I could look at. But just overall, with the defensive names getting hit as much as they are, I don't know if I want to come after Deere or Cat on this pullback.
MBY,
interesting too.
Chris, I agree. MBY completely losing its strength here. Went right through that VWAP. No bottom here at this point. On a wait for a trade here. Gotta wait for this to kind of find bottom. Again, this is one of the reasons why I was saying be quick if you have those gains. Why I said with that on that first bounce, even though it really didn't take out that high, probably want to peel some. This is the type of weakness that we've seen here. No bottom yet in NBY. Great call on that losing its strength. This actually could be halted here if this holds.
Apple making new lows, so this could start pulling back here and pulling back my Qualcomm even further. So you just got to be careful here. Definitely seeing some buying around where I'm in right now, which is 109.99. But the only question is, will that hold? And I don't want to add just yet. I'm waiting to see the market get a nice little rip up. Q's pulling back to the VWAP, so I got to be careful there as Apple's going lower. Microsoft was pretty strong in the pre-market. That was strong yesterday or on Friday, pretty much all day. And so I'm looking to see if Microsoft can stay strong also. NVIDIA has been pretty weak as of late, so keep your eyes on NVIDIA as it's coming down there to 456. So that's not looking good at all. Tesla pulling back here to 263. We'll see if it bounces here. Apple's down pretty good, 179.25. Amazon, also a nice little push to the upside there on Amazon. Qualcomm still doesn't look too bad here, so I'm just staying in it for right now. Looking to see if Apple can start coming back here. Q's looking the VWAP bounce here. Can Microsoft lead us higher? That's another reason why I'm looking at Microsoft. A lot of wicks towards 338 and 337.75 for Microsoft. So just keeping an eye on that. What's leading the market today? Basic materials and everything is up from the open, but we'll see if technology goes red. It's only up 0.03. So it's actually on the downside of the market today, at least the sectors. Let's see if it goes red here. It could go red. Qualcomm is deep into the green now for me, up about almost $1. So going to look to see if Apple could come back. Just need to see Apple come back or Microsoft take lead. Microsoft's trying to go red here, and I need to see Microsoft get into the green for me to add here on Qualcomm. NIO's interesting. XPEV had been doing really well. We'll see what happens with those. Palantir with a nice little uplift at the gates. Soxel, quick pullback there on Soxel. So that's actually dragging right now. SPY starting to get hit there. Microsoft going lower here. We might get a pullback here on Qualcomm. All right, guys. Qualcomm's still battling, so we'll see what happens with it right now. I'm still in the green, and I don't want to take the green and run just in case we get a sweep to the upside here. But definitely I'm seeing tech drag. Qualcomm's going against that. It's in the green for me right now, but just keeping an eye on it. I'll go to anything mentioned in the chat. What you got?
I was just going to say ACB along with that cannabis theme. It's a penny stock, but it's pushing higher here. Just straight green candles off the open on ACB. I don't really see anything else of note. I mean, AMC's kind of volatile, but really nothing there yet. CRNX was moving higher. We talked about that.
Looking at some smaller names here. PSTV showing up there. What about CGC? That got a lift there. Went to 114. MSOS up towards 890s. Can that hold the lift today? We'll see what happens. MSOS get a nice little push here, almost to the 9 spot. There's been a lot of topping at 9. See if it gets through that level today. AMC coming up. Oh no. BLRX going down right out the gates there. Going back to Qualcomm here, seeing if finally we're going to start seeing Apple get a little lift there. There's a little lift at least to start, but Microsoft coming back. That's going to be the one I'm going to keep an eye out. I want to see if Microsoft can hold 336.50s now.
VKTX, interestingly enough, that was the weight loss drug that was down right out of the open, but immediately back to its VWAP here. Volume still kind of low on that. Not sure that I really trust that, but interesting to note nonetheless.
Looking to see if the Qs can bounce right now. Amazon's pretty strong, pulling back to 139.50s. So I'll show you guys that on Amazon. This actually looks interesting if you think this could go back to the upside on the day. But this is already expanded a little bit, so maybe we get a pullback to the trend line. On the daily, I can see this trend line maybe coming into play where we get a pullback towards like 138 today. If not, a lift through 140 is the upside action move. So let's see what happens. It already went through 140 today once. Can it go back through that level is something I'll be keeping an eye out for. 139.50s looks like people are attacking that buy off the VWAP right now. I see support around 139.35. So that's kind of the level that I would be going after off of 139. But hey, to each his own, right?
We'll look to see Tesla trying to get over its VWAP here. Rejected right at the VWAP. Tesla's still weak here today.
My Qualcomm position still in the green there, but pulling back. We'll see what happens here, if the Qs can bounce or not. I'm looking for a 945 reversal, and we're about 3 minutes away from that. We'll see if we get it. If I can stay in the green until that 945, I can add and then just hold break even on the rest.
All right, I took a little Tesla here in the prop. Just started with 10 shares just to see if we can get above the VWAP here. With 10 shares, if this is an immediate rejection and we pull back down here, I'll just cut it and wait for it to set up again. I really want to see it cross through the VWAP and maybe some push away from the VWAP. Took the position small because I don't trust it. Not going to make the same mistake with the sizing issue that we made before. So we'll see.
Lab U showing up for me. It looks like there's some volume that's coming into that, but healthcare was in the red. We'll see if healthcare goes green. Of course, Lab U is kind of biotech bull. It's trying to get back over the
leveraged, right?
The yeah, Lab leveraged.
Yeah, 3x. Yeah.
But overall, technology, the only sector in the red from the open. Basic materials is leading, and so is financial services. Basic materials has up. What is doing well there? Silver, industrial metals and minerals, aluminum, and copper. So those are doing well. Gold is doing well. Everything in the green, all industries in the green for basic materials. And if I look at the financial sector, also seeing all in the green, especially global banks. So just keep an eye out for me. I'm looking to see if JPM can go red here. The other ones are greener than JPM. So I'm looking for JPM to lead the action. Does it catch a VWAP bounce here, or does it go back to red?
Yeah, Jay saying AMD, NVIDIA, ugly action here. Actually, I wouldn't necessarily describe the action in Tesla as ugly, but not great. So didn't want to add here on that. And it looks like it's right back up here. We'll see where technology ends up going here, Mitch. DraftKings at highs, by the way.
We're almost to that 945, and DKNG, the Donkey Kong trade worked, man. It just
sure did.
I just went to the wrong one, guys, and it was a pretty interesting one. And Eldon still got AAL.
How did you do? Did you do any betting this week or this weekend?
I can't, unfortunately.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I'm sorry. I wasn't trying to salt
I
you
get
up.
restricted.
Yeah. So across all of my bets, fantasy and otherwise, I was down $46 this weekend.
Because the United States can't make up their mind on certain issues and just make federal legalization and just everything legalized like it should be. But hey, we aren't going to get into all that action.
Tell us how you really feel, Mitch.
Yeah, I mean, come on, sports betting is legal for Ryan, but I can't do it.
Yeah,
The hell is this country?
Yeah, I mean, it's states have different rules. That's always been the case. I mean, sports betting. I think that this is actually going to end up hurting a lot of people, people that are not able to control themselves with betting. But I mean, that's yet to be seen. That's not my decision to make either. So
yeah, that's on them, man. And the way I feel, it's a free world. Spend your money where you want to spend it.
By the way, Tesla moving through the VWAP here now. So this is exactly what we were hoping for. Really kept my exposure low. So you guys were talking last week about having maybe less position size and some wider stops. So that's kind of what we're trying here, especially with Tesla, at least till we get a better feeling about how we can actually time some of these entries. Watching this VWAP here, this was a good one. Probably should have added, but okay, not overexposing myself to risk early on a Monday here.
All right, guys, it's about to be 9:45. I'm going to look for a little bit of a 20 seconds here in the red and then look for a quick sweep up. And then that would be my ad on Qualcomm. We'll see what happens. If I see the quick sweep, I'll take the shot. If I don't, I won't add. Look
at the reversal there. Tesla really volatile here. Tech names continuing to move to the red. Q's just straight down. Apple pounding the lows. I didn't have AMD up, but you guys were saying that action was ugly earlier. I'm willing to bet that that's continuing. Yeah, still pounding the lows here on AMD. Tesla just a huge reversal here. Let's see.
There's the 30-second mark. This is my chance to add and take a shot here on Qualcomm. So yeah. I am going to do it. And that's just my shot. Doesn't mean that you guys doing it. I'm still seeing tech pretty red. But no,
I'm doing the same thing, Mitch. I mean, I'm doing the same thing. I'm adding another 10 shares to the Tesla position here. Same plan. Still in play here. If we continue to break down, we'll be out on this. But hopefully we go green. And hopefully this pullback was just short-lived.
Yeah, I just took a little bit more there in the 90s and now have 40 at 109.95. Right now, it's about $1 at risk, so I got to be careful and slowly go into the name and look to see if the market can actually reverse here. So I'm looking if Apple could have a nice green candle going back to VWAP, which is 179.30 here. If that could happen, then yeah, we could maybe reverse this market. A lot of it is also Microsoft in the red for me, and look and see if Microsoft can bounce off the hourly resistance of 336 back up through 337. I'll be looking for that action.
Yeah, and so a couple of things here. Becca mentioning Hawaiian Electric. Nice pop here on volume for Hawaiian Electric, just over that 13 handle. No position for me. I know a lot of people are watching that here, but decent pop here on volume. Chris was mentioning that Tesla has got smoked down to its 50. So if you take a look at the top chart, here's my daily chart. That yellow line is the 50 that Chris is talking about. Definitely hoping that this actually bounces and takes a leg up here. When we look at the intraday chart here, we're kind of looking at the same level. Really want this to move above VWAP. Trades entered the green, but we saw how quickly that reversed. So we'll see where we end up going here. We're definitely playing this for a bounce here, Chris, but with tech being as weak as it is, may not get it.
Yeah, may not get it, right? And I think that, like always, just always understand your risk, guys. Hendrix, careful with what button you hit, my friend. Fubo showing up on my scanner there. I don't know what it's doing, but
AMD bouncing here now. So
Fubo pushing a little bit.
Tesla's still actually bouncing here. I'd love to see this get cleared out. I'd probably take that trade off at that point.
MSOS fighting to try to get to 9s. It's back to 885. Can it get to 9 today? One thing to keep an eye out for.
Beach Bum, thanking Sydney for the love. Love to see the community supporting one another. Beach Bum, I would like to send the love to you. Thank you very much for your support. Kind words for the Follow Friday last weekend. Hopefully you had a great weekend. Really, really appreciate the attitude that you bring here all the time. So right back at you, Slick.
KRE going red, JPM going red. That might drag the financials back into red. And KRE is a straight move down. JPM's a straight move down. I'm keeping an eye out on those stocks because they are going red. Another regional bank that I've been trying to hit is TFC. It is the leading market cap regional bank. It's pulling back a little bit. We'll see what happens. KRE coming down.
Tesla moving higher here. This is great. Great for our trade here. Proved to be a pretty good ad. Might have to close this here pretty soon. Let's see if we have any more strength, if we can pop above some of this pre-market stuff. 265. 265 is my target here. Let's see if we can get it.
I'm back in the green here. I'm just looking to see what's going to happen here. If we're going to get Apple to bounce and not, am I going to get Microsoft to look strong? Microsoft's looking weak. So I'm looking to see if Microsoft gives me a strength candle back up through 336.75, a bullish engulfing candle for kind of some bullish names to stay green. Amazon's looking decent. It just came back to VWAP right now, bounced again off of VWAP. Will Amazon take 140? That's definitely one track to kind of take a look at right now if you guys are watching some bigger names. Show you guys Amazon right now.
Tesla, that was interesting. That nice little pullback there. Because of our entry, it didn't really clear out the candle, and now it's trying to move higher here. So still looking pretty decent in Tesla. If we collapse this candle, this most recent one, I know it's difficult to see there, but if we basically set a new low on this candle, I'll cut this trade and wait for another setup since we're in the green here. Just want to get green on the screen here early, especially with Tesla. This has kind of been a bugaboo for me, so we'll see if we can end up trading this for some gains.
All right, looking good here on Qualcomm. I'm seeing Microsoft come back to the green here, and so I'm going to take a little bit more and I'm just slowly adding into Qualcomm here. Just took a little bit more there at the 109 like 10 spot, like right. I'm at 109.97, guys. So I'm like right on the price right now. I'm adding and I'm slowly getting in here, but I'm also keeping in mind the risk. Here's Microsoft coming back to 336.70s, where I kind of wanted to see it go to and give me a bullish engulfing candle on the 1 minute. Now go back to 337s, and the Qs coming back to VWAP is what I'm looking for. Can the Qs come back and Apple come back? Because Apple's still dragging. It's hitting right now a new intraday low. Let's see if it comes back.
Real quickly, I closed Tesla right here just to make sure I booked those gains, while it's still green. Tesla looks like this might actually roll back over. If it does roll back over, fine. We'll look to see if it sets up for a second trade here, but just wanted to get some green on the screen there, so took it off. Now Tesla actually coming right back to the entry, so happy with my first move there. I'll update you if we get something else. Still looking around.
Starting to get Apple start coming back. So I'm taking a shot. I'm adding one more time there and slowly adding into Qualcomm here. I'm only down about $6. So now I got to be really careful because I am starting to size in pretty decent amount, but I need to see it go from red to green now. Q's giving me a bottom around 374.20, so I don't want to see that cut through again. I need to see the Q's come back towards like 375.25 to give me confirmation that I timed the red to green today pretty well. So that's what I'm looking for now. I'd like to see kind of 5 minutes reversal here off of the 109.80 spot here on Qualcomm, going from all this red action to back above VWAP, which would be 111. Got to hold tight here. Let's see if it can run from the 110s and just go straight to the 111s. That's what I'm looking for. If I could get that quick red to green action on this 15-minute candle, I'll be looking pretty decent. There's 6 minutes and 30 seconds left for the 15-minute candle. Q's making a move. We'll keep an eye out on that. How we doing out there, team? What are we looking at? Webcoin
Tesla bounced again, by the way, but I'm not in it.
There you go. We'll see what happens. CGC new highs will take a small win. Hey, see what happens on that CGC. Cannabis life.
Apple, AMD bouncing here. We'll see how long this bounce holds up.
Yeah,
and
Chris.
It looks like oil actually coming back from the highs that it just put in.
Oil. Does it want to interrupt all that inflationary outlook? It's making a move to 88 right now. that could still go higher. Energy is actually in the red right now. Look for maybe red to green actions on those as you get in this pullback here. XOM is actually getting hit hard there. It's interesting to see it get hit hard. Did financials go to the red? No, they're still green for right now. Apple bouncing a little bit, so this is making me feel a little bit better about my position timing. Now I just need to see the position go in my favor, and then we're going to be looking really good here. Hendricks, lay down, buddy. All right, just keeping in the watch on this 110 here, looking to see if we can get the Qs back to VWAP. Qs back to VWAP. Maybe we can get Qualcomm back to VWAP. Dragging a little bit here. Wouldn't want to break the 110 now. We really like to see a nice candle go to 110.70. Looking to see if the Qs can come back on the day. Nice hourly support around 374.50s. So I would like to see that start to hold for the QCOM. Not for QCOM, the Qs. So maybe we get a pullback towards that level, 374.50s, but wouldn't want to see it like go to the back towards 374.25s here. Going to look to see if it can get back through 375 and start to go on the Qs. Okay, one more attempt to add here on QCOM if I want to.
All right, sorry, I was just this is what I do like about the start of the football season. The smack talk in the fantasy leagues right now, Mitch, is popping.
Yeah,
absolutely off the chain. Like Monday morning, people are at their jobs. It don't matter. It don't matter. There is some shit talking going on right now.
I'm not enjoying it at all. I'm not. I'm not, Ryan. As I told you, I'm on injury reserve, so I can't do any. I can't do any talking when my team went from ranked second in the draft out of a 12-team draft now down towards 11th projected place.
PLTR, great move here. By the way, really good call here. PLTR, great move off the VWAP. We missed that one, or I did. Excuse me, I did. Tesla, after that yank back here, ended up going higher. So Tesla's still having some strength. It'll be interesting to see where this goes with the tech bounce. Q's still bouncing. AMD may be rolling over. Apple feeling a little bit heavy here, but Q's bouncing. We'll see if Tesla diverges from that at all today.
Microsoft is a good one to kind of keep a watch. If that goes back to red, then that'd be a little bit worried. But Microsoft staying green right now looks good there, that we could get the lift, right? I've talked about Microsoft and I talked about Amazon being two of the strongest moves today. Let's see if Amazon goes back and takes out another high here. Amazon looking strong, and it held the first pullback to 139.50s that we were talking about just earlier and took off towards 140.50. So let's see if it could take back through that 140.50 here, and that could keep us climbing. So I like Microsoft and Amazon as one stocks that I'm keeping an eye out for the industry and how things are going right now. So I'm not even stressing too much here.
Tesla 260 calls coming across the wire here. Two different blocks of Tesla calls coming across. So that goes with that move higher here. Just noting it, not making a trade based off that. Fubo, someone asked about Fubo last week. Let me go back to this here. Someone asked about Fubo last week. I think it might have been Laura Rogers. Can't remember. Anyway, Fubo definitely talked about quite frequently and watched quite a bit. Nice strong morning on volume here today for Fubo, and really doing a good job bouncing off of its VWAP. Now, I can't tell you where this is going to go long term. I don't think that I really believe the story here. But Fubo, especially looking at the 15-minute chart, having a really good September so far. Area of note coming up here is going to be 350 for me. And maybe if we cross 354 is possible. We'll see our Fubo, no position, but having a good day here today.
All right, getting a nice little pullback here, but just going to keep a watch to see if Apple can hold the lows.
Q's
If it goes
pulling,
through the
SPY
lows,
pulling. Yep.
I'd be a little bit careful. The Qs still have a stop here at the recovery of 374.50s. Takedown of 374 is where I'd be careful.
Jenny and Cal looking for Fubo up to the 4 level. We'll see if that ends up happening. Kaylee saying my Browns fan friend was beside himself. Yeah, I don't doubt it. Browns looked really good. They smoked the Bengals. Didn't see that one coming.
Yeah, that's another reason why I didn't do good on fantasy. So I loved Ryan's comments this morning on fantasy. I'm enjoying them.
I did a parlay. I did a couple of parlays, but I think they were for $10 a piece. I didn't really spend a whole lot. Those both got knocked out largely because of that Browns game. So
yeah, I have Burrow as my QB. So if he would have gave me 10 points, I still would have won the week without my 2 best wide receivers. So it's like, come on, man. Come on, man.
Yeah, so this is an interesting thesis here. So Explodus Maximus saying that Spectrum, the second largest cable company, in a fight with Disney just be fighting with everybody. Stay away from Disney. Stopped airing ESPN at the start of football season, causing people to look for alternatives such as streaming Fubo. So I've heard about this, and I thought about this too. I'm interested to see what kind of effect there actually is. I suspect that Spectrum issue is going to get resolved at some point, which will kind of evaporate whatever gains you have in some of these other streaming services. The interesting thing to note here, though, is that ESPN doesn't really carry any NFL football. Maybe the Monday night game that might be it. I think that might even be on ABC. Regardless, there were no football games on ESPN this weekend. It would have just been the U.S. Open. It does affect college games, though, and I think that some of that money behind these programs is one of the reasons it's going to drive this. I see what you're saying about Fubo in the near term. A little cautious on how long that's going to play out. I would expect the situation with Spectrum to get resolved.
I just went long Google based on all that talk.
Okay, there you go.
There's a reason why.
Yeah, put it up. Let's talk. Oh, I put mine up. Let's get yours up here.
No worries. So the big thing with this trade is what? I expect to hear what from Google today? I expect to hear X and X joined YouTube TV because of football this weekend. So we haven't heard that news yet. I'm looking to see that news come out at some point later today and taking it based off of that. I only took 50 shares right there. I'm in the red right now. We'll see what happens, but I'm taking a little bit of Google here.
You know, the other thing is I don't know if you noticed this, Mitch, but throughout the NFL kickoff, the amount of calls for, this sponsored by YouTube, brought to you by YouTube,
you saw that, right, Ryan?
Incredible. They were all over every game and every block multiple times, not just halftime, like the commercials in between. So I like where you're at here with this thesis. I don't have any myself, but I like that. I like that trade a lot.
Yeah, it's not a bad outlook here. I'm trying to hang on to Qualcomm here and risk off the 109s, guys. If I do get a loss, it would be a bigger size loss today, but it's also a bigger size trade. We'll see what happens if we get back into the green. My biggest outlook is Apple still hanging in there. Microsoft looking good here. Google looks like it could take the upside move here, and I'm looking decent in Google right now. Amazon's looking strong, just pushed to the upside. So I think we're going to get the reversal. I'm trying to hang in on Qualcomm. I could add down here, but that's just increasing my risk. I'm waiting to kind of get this towards the upside and see this go from red to green. Google looking decent. I could add to that spot, but I want to see the Qs take off first, and then I can just start adding on pullbacks. Qs just bounced off the lows. That looks decent. If it can take 375.25 and close above that on a 5-minute basis. QCOM going to give me a nice reversal
here today.
Looking to see if QCOM can recover 109.57s on a 5-minute basis and then just drive to the VWAP. As it starts to drive to the VWAP, that's when I'll start adding. I don't want to add right now because I'm just increasing risk. Yeah, Google, I like the Google chart. The chart looks better on the daily. And it has that outlook, right? That it could give a positive catalyst right now about YouTube TV and all. You know what? One thing that I noticed, Ryan, is that are they going to be considered subscribers of YouTube TV, right? And then YouTube TV could end up giving them like a very positive outlook on their subscriber outlook, right?
So let's talk about that, because I was wondering that myself, and I just want to be very, very clear, Mitch. I'm speculating at this point. I don't know how this is going to work. Number one, I don't think they should count as YouTube TV subscribers. YouTube TV is in a completely separate thing than this primetime package or this premium package that is short-lived. So I would be disappointed if that's what they did. Now, on the flip side, one of the things that they are going to do is they're going to use that cohort of people that have the Sunday ticket but don't have YouTube TV, and they are going to try to convert them to YouTube TV customers via email campaign, maybe even a call campaign. There's going to be a lot to build off of from this, but I think that is going to have a longer runway, right? I don't know that that's just going to happen overnight. A couple of things to kind of play along with this that I noticed about the Sunday ticket. It actually worked extremely well. I've been streaming the Sunday ticket via DirecTV the past couple of years, and I've used an app that was PlayStation based and then also like tablet based. There's buffering in the videos, there's choppiness in the videos, there's sometimes these errors and hangups. There was none of that yesterday. The multi-view experience, the only downside to the multi-view is that you can't pick the 4 games you want to watch at once, but there are so many choices that it's almost kind of moot. You're going to get a really good multi-view anyway. Overall, I would say the rollout of this on opening weekend, I would almost go to so far as to say an A-. And I think that actually might contribute then to converting people to YouTube TV and maybe more cord cutting. I don't know, just a hypothesis that I have for that. We'll see how the rest of these weeks play out, but so far so good. And like I said, that will actually have some runway. That'll take time to actually get those customers into the fold.
The battle's still on right now between the Bulls and the Bears. Another stock that I'm looking at, just in case we start getting a swoosh to the upside, is Intel. Intel, I've been hearing so many good news out there by, let's say, software experts, AI experts, talking about how NVIDIA is finding some struggle in meeting the demand that's out there for the AI chips. Second place is Intel. Third place is AMD. That's weird to hear, because AMD had been in such like second place above Intel that I'm starting to actually lean more to Intel seeing a better upside from AI than even AMD. And that's coming from the people that are experts, the software experts.
Disney, I'm sorry to interrupt Mitch here, but Disney's popping here. It looks like rumors that someone's gonna, I heard the squawk there, but I missed the end of it. Disney popping here. I don't see anything in the news yet. I'll see if I can go back and find that here. Disney popping here. Possible joint venture with Charter, I think.
Ooh, joint venture with Spectrum?
Spectrum, maybe. Let me see if I can find that. Let me see if I can hard pull on Fubo, by the way, from that. Here's let me see if I can find this. I heard it, but it was quiet because I was talking and listening to you all at the same time. That's my own fault. Look at this pull on Fubo. Man, oh man. Okay, let me see if I can track this down.
Ooh, lagged a little bit there. Was almost bought 82.30s there for Disney. I was looking for 82.20s or 82.25s, but it already bounced there to 47s. Let me see if I can get 82.25s or 82.20s here and risk off 82s for Disney. It's not going to give me the chance, it looks like. I'm putting out the order here. Let's see if it can fill me on a pullback. I don't mind taking the shot. Just needs to pull back and fill me. I'm not going to jump up there to 83s. I feel like I'm reaching. Algo's stepped up there in the 30s. Algo's definitely stepped up there in the 30s. I'm going to cancel that for now because it's pulling back pretty fast. But if I could get closer towards 82, I'll take a shot. You see, it just hit 36 again where I saw them come in last time, and it just bounces right there. I don't know if the algos are building a little wall there around the 30s, but definitely doesn't seem like it wants to break through 82.30s right now. I'm looking for the slight cut down and a quick one and then a recovery here. I'll take a shot on it. And I don't even like Disney, but this is just day trading action. You see the 30s, man. Another person bought up there in the 30s, and it's back to the 50s. It just didn't want to go towards the 20s there. I could see it stepping up every time in the 30s. On the bid. Yeah, it's already jumping up there. Probably not going to be able to get it, team. All right, let's see how Apple's doing here. It's still hanging in there, and that's why I'm still in Qualcomm here. But if it just cuts towards 177, I'm going to be screwed there.
Yeah, so just to kind of confirm what I was hearing there on Sky, I know it got cut up there, and I'm sorry it took me so long. Disney charter nearing a carriage deal. This is just, I guess, just rumors. I think Unusual Whales. Let me see if I can actually find it. Yeah, Disney charter nearing carriage deal. That was Walter Bloomberg on Twitter there as well. Squawk got it as well, of course. That's what I was initially reacting to. So we'll see. But it's funny that we actually got that right after I was saying that at some point I would imagine that this deal gets resolved and that the Fubo trade is kind of a
that was the outlook right there.
And I mean, look what happened.
The 8230s was the buyback there, and that was the area where they were just the algos were buying the pullback. Look where it's at now, 8290s. So that's 60 cents off of that. Now I want to touch it. But I had my chance right there. I was looking for what, 5 cents lower. Sorry, guys. You know what I mean? I was trying to jump in there for the Disney move for us, but the way that I usually do it is I look at resistance, right? And I try to go off of prior resistance becoming support. So I just looked at this line here and I said, okay, if it can come back through that level, I'll take it. But it did come back to that level. It was just using it as support, which was the 8230s there, and it bounced right off of that level, came right back up. Qs look like they're setting up for this up move here, and that's why I'm still in right now, just keeping an eye on to see if the Qs can make an up move back through 375s. I like Microsoft here, even off 337s. It looks pretty interesting as it keeps holding. I could risk off a 336.75s or 336.50s here. See if Microsoft just catches the bounce here and then comes back up. Microsoft actually been looking good lately, so I'm just keeping an eye on it today as a good indicator of the market. Q's battling, trying to come back to the VWAP, but not being able to do it and rejecting there. So let's see if it goes lower through the 374. Picked up 40 at Disney at 33 cents. Quick move. Thanks. Boom. That's all on you, man. And if you're able to nail it, I'll tell you one thing. You're quicker than I was.
Yeah, and this, by the
no worries, just switch it up. I got it.
Got it. I see. I'm figuring out. By the way, newsprints like that. We actually got questions the other day in Happy Hour last week about how you can effectively trade the squawk. How do you trade based off of squawks? And what you guys, the example there with Disney is exactly how you do it. You recognize that there's a piece of news floating out there that's driving the price of the stock, and then you play it whichever way you're trying to play it. I mean, long or short, I can't tell you how you're going to trade it. I would have for sure traded that one to the long side. You can use the VWAP on that to come back in and kind of wait for a reload spot if you don't get it off the initial newsprint there. But my issue with being a little slow there, I didn't completely hear the squawk, and I've been burned before. So if I don't completely hear what's going on, I don't trade it. That would have been a great one to trade there. Just even a little bit of shares, you could have booked some gains pretty quickly there.
Yeah, downside coming in there in the Qs and washing out the Google trade there and washing out a lot of trades here as Microsoft goes red really quickly. And there you guys see it, the drag on the market probably coming in here. I don't expect to see a quick recovery here because those are big candles. So we'll see what happens. Really close to stopping out in Qualcomm, and it's going to be a pretty tight, pretty big stop out. I pushed it a little bit, so we'll see what happens here, team. If we're able to hold the kind of the 109 outlook, definitely going to have to hold to slightly below that. But we'll see what happens here. If it's able to recover, we won't be too bad, but needs to recover really quickly. If not, it's going to be a washout.
Market pulling here and moving to lows.
Not looking good, at least in the Qs. See if Tesla can hold the VWAP, but definitely saw a turnaround there. Even Amazon pulling back here now for the VWAP. Technology still red for the day. Financial services in the green still, and JPM starting to bounce back. Maybe that can help us if the banks can come back here, make an up rip.
Crow calling PSTV. It will be interesting to see if PSTV can go here. We'll see. PSTV's volume has really kind of dried up. I see what you're here. Let me put this on the screen so we can take a look at it. So Crow saying PSTV any moment now. Brady's looking for here is a move through the VWAP to at least test this double top here, maybe around 2, right, Crow? If we move through 2, maybe kind of lighten that and hang on to the trailer. Is that what you're looking at here on PSTV? It's actually not a bad setup, but I think for this move to take place, we're going to need some more volume. I think we just don't have it. Here comes a pullback on PSTV.
Not getting the bounce today. It doesn't seem like we might get it here. Looking around to see if some of these stocks can get the bounce. Nvidia is down to 443. That's definitely getting a hit. Adobe's getting hit. Financial services leading, energy in the red, technology in the red. Energy starting to bounce a little bit. We saw oil names really pushing towards the upside. So let's see if we can catch a little bit of a dip there and it starts to work its way back.
Crow, you went from PSTV any moment now to, cutting it real fast there. You think that this is a breakdown here? I mean, I think don't we want to see it break 167 at least?
Yeah, my thing with that one is just too big of a red candle on the prior action for me to go after it. It's too much of a flush down. I'm catching a falling knife. Even if it goes up 8% on the daily chart, it just went down what?
Just things change really quick there.
I can't take that type of trade. There's nothing wrong with taking that trade, but definitely at the end of the day, I always got to try to stick to where I see the edge. I don't see edge on that chart. Tilray trying to go higher. How's that MSOS? Trying to battle into the 9s. Holding the VWAP right now. Let's see if it gets into 9. Tilray looking good there. Microsoft going lower. It doesn't look good there for me in tech today. We'll see if it turns. MSOS trying to get towards 9.
Marty saying, oh shit, I forgot to hit the like button. This is a good reminder, Marty, for everyone else out there. Remember to hit that. That's how you support us. Smash it up. Mitch, it's always smashing it. I mean, you can just click it. If that is
No, I want you to literally break your computer because you hit the mouse too hard.
I knew that was coming.
If I got to replace some mouses, just give me a call, guys.
Car culture, what are you asking here? Hi, guys. What do you think about the US 30 or the NASDAQ 100? What are you asking here? What kind of answer are you looking for?
Yeah, let us know a little bit more. Maybe that will help. All right, traders, we're going to take a second here to take a look at a quick trailer here. Of course, Trade the Pool. You guys see it, our partnership right at the top. Check it out, and I'll throw up the link here for you guys to take a look.
Stock is don't risk your money. The second rule in day trading stock is have enough capital to trade freely. Introducing Trade the Pool. Trade our funds in your own unique way. Here's how it works. Step number 1. Show you can trade and prove your profitability. Step number 2, get funded. Trade the pool and keep up to 80% of the profits. Step number 3, stay consistent and get access to unlimited buying power. It's as simple as that. Sound good? But wait, we got more. When you join Trade the Pool, you get a free user for the best tools in the market. Trade ideas, TrendSpider, Bookmap, Traders Syncs, and more. We have been here for a while now, from 2016, when we built our first brand called The Fivers, a well-known and respected prop firm for indices and FX trading. But enough about us, let's talk about you. Are you ready to be a stock star? Start trading now.
All right, team, let's get back to the trading action. Of course, you guys can ask any question you like about Trade the Pool, and we'll see what else is going on.
So it looks like Car Culture wants a technical analysis readout on the regular market. I mean, we do that every single day. We gave
Yeah,
you
we
the
can take a
SPY
look.
this morning. You want to do the Dow for him?
The Dow, I just look at the DIA.
That's the US 30.
Yeah, I just look at the DIA for that an ETF, right, that tracks it, right? And so what I would say is just look at the strongest names. You see Disney, Amgen, and Dow leading that, Verizon and Coke behind that, Johnson and Johnson. So that just shows me more and more. I see Disney with a catalyst lift, right? And then Amgen, of course, biotech moving higher. I talked about LabU earlier today. And then I see some defensive names here. Verizon, Coke getting the lift today. And so those are defensive names that are getting a little bit of a push up that you guys can look for. Also seeing a lot of red in where? In Boeing, in Walgreens, and
Mitch,
CRM.
do you have a screen share for this? I'm sorry.
It's not on. It's not on my other screen here.
Gotcha. All good.
That's the TC outlook, but I always give you guys the sector and the industry outlook. I just don't show it anymore, guys. If you guys want to take a look at that, you guys can take a look at that on Start Swing Trades. So if you guys want to know a little bit more about sector and industry wide analysis, well, that's what Start Swing Trade is all about. Catch that today at 3:30 p.m. Eastern. It's good to see you, Car Culture. New to the stream? Well, hit that like button. That's what we're about here. We'll see what happens if Qualcomm can hold this 109 now and start coming back. That's what I'm looking for. But really, the market needs to start coming back. If it takes another leg lower, I won't be able to hang on.
Disney higher here on the next leg up off the back of that news.
Yeah, that Disney news gave me a chance at that 82.30s, but other than that, I haven't seen it. And it's back towards 83.50s now. So you could have got more than a buck on that first kind of action there with the pullback. Not a bad move there for Disney. I wonder how that will affect Netflix. Netflix is actually coming down off of that news and has gone red. Let's see if it goes back to green. Tesla, will it get the push? Stellantis is actually taking off to the upside. That is interesting to see that. Ford trying to get strong also here. Do they know something we don't? Who knows? ACB breaking consolidation. We'll see what happens. Wisdom, what's going on, man? How we doing? Hey, there you go. Wisdom, get what you can, right? That's what we're all about. We're not going to be able to get everything in the market, but there's one thing for certain. We can definitely battle and push ourselves forward in life, and that's what we're all here for at the end of the day. It's not just to play the game. It's to eventually maybe generate some wealth, right? And we're not talking about no small stuff. We're talking about the good stuff.
That's why I get frustrated, Mitch. That's exactly why I get frustrated in conditions like this, because when I'm forced to play just kind of smaller things and smaller positions, that's not the type of wealth move that I'm actually looking for. But I can't fight a market that's not being cooperative with those opportunities. I just don't have them. I'm willing to listen to other theses out there, but it's a tough market, and I just don't see the tailwinds behind us. I see more headwinds than anything else.
Yeah, it's good to call out there, and it's something definitely to keep an eye out for. The market just struggling here. KRE coming back, though. Financials are coming back, so I'm looking to see if we can get a drive back here. That's why I'm sticking around in Qualcomm, but definitely taking a bigger risk in Qualcomm today. But I'm just trying to stick to the stock that I'm trying to nail, right? We'll see what happens here. If I do take a hit, it'll be like the average hit for the day that I've been doing on the account, and I'm just going to keep pushing. If I could get this to come back, it would be a big winner. So let's see what happens on the Qs to see if we can get back above VWAP. Google came right back to the support and then put a bunch of wicks there. So I'm looking to see if we can start to recover on Google back through the 137.30s. Then see it get back to the VWAP. The hourly support is right around here. So that's what I'm also looking to see, if hourly support comes into play here and we get a bounce.
Yeah, this SLE here, this is a good mention here from Jay. SLE, this SLE, I think he meant to say here, used to be SLGG, which we've talked about quite a bit. Super League Gaming. They did a reverse split here, which is why we have the price. I mean, years ago, this was a huge winner for me. The stock really struggled. But reverse split. It is moving here today. I would say this. Crow, I know that you're really excited with what's going on here in SLE. But keep in mind, this is most likely just kind of a shorter term trade. The performance of this company has been pretty poor, to be quite honest with you. So Jay making a joke here about that, thinking they're Sara Lee and selling frozen pies. LOL.
One stock that I'm keeping an eye out for, Archer. Archer showing up here, and
ACHR.
Yeah, it's showing up on my scanners, and I'm just taking a look at it. $7 seems to be a big resistance here.
Yep.
It's tried to go through this level multiple times. Does it go through it here or reject and then come back down to 620s? I'm actually betting on the downside here a little bit more than the upside. So I might take a short here off of like 710, 720s. So that's about what, like a 30 cent to the upside, but I could see here coming down maybe 60 cents. So this would be a short outlook on ACHR. Going to see if the market could come back though here. I'm still looking at Qualcomm. This does look like short here though, opportunity. IonQ losing also altitude. Of course, you guys know I wanted to short that last week, missed the trade. So keeping an eye on that one to see if I can get back into the name. I don't want to short IonQ though early in the week. I'm looking for a little bit later. So if it breaks down today, I mean, that's how it goes sometimes. They talked about more generative AI stuff. So that's one thing that I don't want to get in front of. And I think the ARM IPO might play into IonQ. So remember that ARM is going to be very close to an IonQ. And we know how sympathy sometimes drives stock further than the logical move. Right now, I feel like the logical move on IonQ is back down, but the story's hot. When story's hot, you got to be careful shorting names. ACHR, we'll see IonQ coming back here.
I took a little ACHR last week, just so I could make sure I just watch it. I'm going to hold this for the long term here. My buy price was $6.34 on that.
Okay, you're looking for long side upside.
Yeah, I'm thinking that eventually there's going to be more to this. So I actually bought shares so that I remind myself that I have some. I only bought 100 shares, so it's really not the end of the world. But I'm holding them just to kind of remind myself that I have them. So I'm in the habit of checking the price every day. We'll see. I want to add to that, but I just don't feel good about doing that right now.
Yeah, I know ARK has been just loading and loading, and you guys know how I feel about Kathy. Sometimes when she gets into stocks, she's could be that opposite side indicator for me.
Yeah, Wisdom. Just going through some of your posts now here. Trading secondary, considering to what you're dealing with right there. And it's good to see you trying to help all the people affected. You can't ever rely on the government, man. The fact that you're out there trying to do something is encouraging. Keep that up, man. I second what Becca's saying here. Keep up the good work.
Q's coming back a little bit here. We'll see if it actually comes back. It's still fighting the levels to get above, which is 374.50s.
Yeah, real quick here. 13, actually, one of the people that has been researching Joby and Archer for as long, at least one of the first people to be researching these stocks as a potential long play, as far as I'm aware. So hats off to you, 13, on that. We were talking last week about this being a pretty good spot to add. Archer is be under that 6 level. Pretty much anywhere under 6 would be really good adds. It's part of the reason why I only have 100 shares instead of building a position. We've pretty much just traded up since I got that initial tranche of shares. So if this comes back in, especially to that 5, I'd look to add there.
Yeah, this is just kind of more rule of 3 outlook for me on the daily. Rejection to get above 7 has happened 4 times already. So that's kind of what I'm looking for here. See if it doesn't even get to 7 today. Q's going strong though. With that being said, if the Q's are strong, I'm not going to go shorting right now. But I can look at this if for any reason I do get a wipeout on Qualcomm. Can the market come back today? Microsoft trying to come back. Q's trying to come back. Apple made a bottoming around 177.60s today. We'll see if that comes back to VWAP 178.50s. It's in aerospace and defensive names. So that's interesting. Also, the space isn't the best right now. That's what they consider Archer, at least. Energy coming back. We talked about would energy come back. It was a big rip up, and we're seeing it come back to the green now. Defensive names having a really good day there too. So watch out with that. Qualcomm starting to come back a little bit here. I can add to it and hold below to the low of the day. Look for a slight pullback here, and then I'll look for the add and then hold on the low of the day.
HE here, Turbine saying Hawaiian Electric State Attorney General will not be investigating the utility. I'd like to look into a little bit more of that. That sounds good to me, right? That sounds like they're kind of saying, I don't think it's the utility at fault here for this. Still don't think that that's necessarily going to make it return to where it was quickly, but that seems to be like good news for me on HE.
Seems to be. I would agree with that, but it's just a difficult trade too, because you never know what can happen on that trade, right? That's why I say that it's a good outlook because there's good potential return, but then there's also big risk here. That's one thing that I think everyone needs to remember that's trading HE. There's big risk. Big risk. I don't trade anything that has massive risk like that. Like what could happen is from one day to another, they say, yeah, they are responsible, and the stock goes down 70%. I can't do any trade that can knock me down 70% overnight. I just can't do it. I would lose my account. I'd lose my swing trading account. And if I do that, guys, I'd probably be done for Benzinga because I would be so mentally screwed losing 70% overnight. So I don't go into any trade that I can lose, like, let's say more than 10%. If I feel like I can lose more than 10% on any one trade, I shouldn't be in that name, at least for me.
Yeah, Jimmy, we definitely do. So Jimmy, this is actually a really good question. I'll go ahead and address it and then have Mitch address it as well. I'm new to the channel. That's the key statement here. I know this is a teaching channel, but do you trade other than in a prop account? At the end of the day, you making no money in trading? Yes. In fact, the prop account is new. It's about 2 weeks old. The genesis, the origin of this has always been us trading on our regular accounts. We still trade on our regular accounts. The prop is actually sponsoring the channel so that we can keep the channel free. But to answer your question directly, yes, in fact, 95+% of our trading is done in our actual accounts. So good question here. You probably feel that way because you're newer to the channel. And since you've joined the channel, we've been talking about Trade the Pool pretty consistently. But yes, both Mitch and I each have our own accounts and we are active in those accounts.
Yeah, that's why I just talked about it. My swing trading account, Start Swing Trade, the show. You guys can check out that show. That's where I really make my bread and butter. I talk about it all the time. Where do I do the best on? It's in swing trading. There's a reason why I have a show that's specifically for swing trading. So if you guys want to check that out, that's at 3:30 p.m. Eastern daily. We talk about sector and industry-wide moves as I look to catch what is my edge, which is what? Understanding sectors and industries, looking for leader laggard style plays, and looking for rotation of the big boys. Dun, dun, dun. And like I said, for me, if I put anything on that swing trade account that could just destroy the account, I'd be doing something wrong. The whole point of my swing trade account is to lose small, almost lose so small that losses don't matter. And then just keep winning and stacking up the bigger wins. That's where I've seen that I can do what a lot of traders talk about, which is cutting losses small and letting winners expand. I do that very well. in my swing trade account. Where I struggle doing that is in day trading. That's where normally I cut winners a little bit too small, and I'm still cutting my losers small. But if you cut your winners small too, that necessarily doesn't give you the advantage. That's why I talk about, for me, swing trading is where my capital goes.
And real quick, while Mitch was talking about PSTV, this is starting to curl here. Remember, we were talking about this not needing to break down beneath 168. It didn't do that. Now we're actually taking out the VWAP here. We're holding here a little bit. 178, there was a little size there, but right here at the VWAP, let's see if PSTV can actually push through and move higher here.
All right, guys, we'll see what happens. The market not holding up at all right now, and then looking to see if the Qs can do it. But the Qs were coming back there, was looking strong, then flushes right back down. So it could be just kind of playing with traders right now, but definitely getting weak there. We'll see what happens if I get stopped out in Qualcomm. Don't want to see it back down through the 108.70s here. That'll definitely end up getting me stopped out. We'll see what happens. It's been a tough day overall with the Qs and the tech trade pulling back after a really strong Friday. There's still some names that don't look the worst, but Amazon just barely hanging on here as the bigger boy that's strong. Tesla is trying to hang on VWAP, but has already touched VWAP multiple times here. We'll see if it starts to wash down through the 261 or 262 level. It's trying to hang on, but definitely needs some momentum to the upside. MSOS there is approaching 9 there, guys. So if you guys were looking for that trade, let's see if it goes through that 9. The cannabis traders, let's see if we get a new high. ACB mentioned by Kel. Tilray triple top. Can they go through these levels and break through the next level? We'll see what happens there. And then Archer trying to get through 7s there. We'll see if it gets through 7s and continues to the upside, as we are starting to get a little bit of some lift here. ARKK name also lifting. Roku actually doing pretty well. Palantir doing well. I'm going through some names and just naming them out for you guys out there. What's doing well on ARKK? Squillo doing well today. Path staying strong. Square is an interesting chart right now. If you think that these names could get the lift today, look at Square off this 54. So you got this 54 right underneath it, just pulled back there towards 54.05. I kind of like it here on an outlook for Square to get back to the upside. What do you guys think about this one? It's actually an interesting play here. I'd maybe look for one more down dip towards like 54 because I want to be closest to 54 as possible. But it does look like it held 54 just recently, the 54.04, both times on this last 5-minute candles. Doesn't look bad here on Square. I'm just waiting a little bit. Part of this is that I'm just deep red. So there's no like itching to get into more positions right now. But does this setup look interesting? Yes. Sentinel-1 mentioned in the chat. We can go to it. That's S. Sentinel-1 getting that nice little lift there to 1766. This has been pushing well with the cybersecurity stocks. So if you're looking at Sentinel-1, you could also look at PanW. PanW trying to get back up above the 251, just bounced off of that level after cutting through it multiple times, 3 times to cut 251s. I would look for PanW now to hold it. You can see the 3 cut downs right there, right on the screen. Let's see if it starts holding and takes to the upside. CrowdStrike is another way to kind of play this. It's pulling back to the 171. Would like to see 171.60s and 171.50s hold now. Get back through 171. It's not a bad outlook. Zscaler is another stock in this space, doing a very similar chart as CrowdStrike. There's Square coming back down.
Smaller names here looking kind of depressed. I was kind of rolling through my scanner list here, Mitch, when you were talking there.
Yeah.
Let me hear it's in pro. ACB playing catch up to CGC. That's about the only thing here. AMTX, it's actually not on here anymore, but looked like that might be setting up. Let me see if I can pull that up again here. AMTX maybe a breakout here, not in this, too thin, not really going to play this. The other one that was going here today is SLE. This is looked like this is totally rolled over here. Multiple dollar move right back down to the VWAP. Just not going to participate in this.
All right, DraftKings did go from green to red, so a short off of that play would be 32s now. If it can get the 32s, I don't mind getting short on it, but it needs to come back, and then I get short. All right, what's going to go on with the Qs? Are we going to go lower here? It's just a battle here, guys. And it's a lot of choppy trading after like 9:45. We've been going sideways here, haven't really determined, but just continuing a small leap down. Qualcomm now creating what? 1, 2, 3, 4, almost 5 bottoming actions off of 108.82. So I really don't want to see it break through that again. If we could come back through my entry, which is 108, 109.81s, if we can go back towards 110, I can start adding and looking for this to come back. But I'm going to wait for me to come back through that level. Qualcomm holding on, just needs to start coming back here. Been slowly building it up, trying to build it towards the next level and then start getting it back into the green. And then we can even add to it. But the market needs to come back to green. Qualcomm takes an Hughes take another lick down through the 374s. And yeah, I could see us probably going lower. So let's see what happens here. Very important spot to see if the market's going to come back. Microsoft Outlook still holding the hourly pullback. So that actually looks interesting for me off 336 here. It's already bouncing a little bit there. Microsoft going up to 336.30s. Just bounced off of that 336 multiple times. So let's see if it can take it now to the upside. This doesn't look bad at all. More based off a 1 hour chart here. So you see this hourly resistance of Microsoft acting as support around the 336 level. I'd like to see 336.80s hold now and then get back up there. See if the market wants to come back here. Qs look different. They're trying to make the move back, but really need some buy to come in here.
Looks like the rain's coming.
The rain. Look at MSOS through the nines. Awesome. Now back up there to 915. So Cannabis getting a little bit of a lift there. ACHR touched 7 and rejected 7. Can he get through that 7 and keep going? I know you guys are looking at that one at least. DKNG trying to recover here. Q's coming back here. 374.43s. Might get a chance to get short on that. Microsoft looks interesting here as it starts to recover 336.20s. Do I take another trade there? Nah, I'm probably not, but I'm looking to see if we can come back up through 337. We'll probably stick to the Qualcomm trade, even though I like that Microsoft setup.
AMTX, nice little breakout here. We talked about that a little bit. I actually didn't take this one, a little bit too thin, but we did break out of that double top here. There were also options that came in on this as well. So AMTX, nice breakout. I didn't hit this one, unfortunately. That's okay. And 13, great call here on BlackBerry. 13 gave us a long thesis here on Black. 13, I hope you don't mind that we're sharing this from the happy hour content, but BlackBerry, this has been a great thesis for you. And now we're kind of into the gap here, right? I wonder if this actually trades back up to 550.
BlackBerry. Now yeah, that's something that's a contrarian view. Let me just say that. All right,
it's the patents. They have a ton of patents, and he thinks they might be involved in electric vehicles. Also a takeover target here. Now into the Internet of Things and security. The Internet of Things would be the electric vehicle angle, by the way.
All right, Microsoft starting to come back. Will Amazon kind of continue going? Will Google work its way back? Will Tesla rip to the upside? That held the VWAP pretty well today. Now wants to take out 266. Let's see if it takes it out and holds. Actually, doesn't look too bad there. All right, it's 10:43, guys. In about 7 minutes, we'll start to wrap up. I'm going to wrap up a little bit earlier than 10:55. As we get you guys over, of course, Trader Bacon show will be on at 11, so you don't got to go anywhere if you guys want to keep going. I just got some things I got to prepare as I keep going through the day. But Microsoft's starting to work its way back there, 336.40s. We'll look to see if it takes out the highs on the day. That's a good outlook to see the Qs really kind of get up there. Now back towards 374.50s. Can Apple start making its way back? It just put a nice little bottoming action around 177.80s. So let's see if some buyers come in now and Apple starts to reverse on the day. That's one thing that I'd keep an eye out for, because back through like kind of 179, yeah, Apple could start getting strong. It could reject here 178 and come right back down. Keeping an eye on it. Qualcomm almost back towards my entry here. Apple looking interesting there off those 177.50s. So you can see this reversal style play here. This is off the 15 minutes. And it also becomes what? An hour, right? 4 of those candles. So if this could reverse on the hourly, make a new hourly candle, go back through 178, 177.40 seems like an interesting risk off spot. We'll see what happens.
See if Tesla actually breaks to highs here. Tesla's trying to break out from those pre-market highs here. I got 266-ish on Tesla. Not in it.
DKNG not getting back there to 32s is struggling. It could get shorted right here. So I'm just keeping an eye out to see what happens there. This could be a buy the rumor, buy the news, sell the rumor. Whoa. I'm twisted today, Ryan. You see?
I was going to say, there's
days where I get twisted. I am getting twisted today. Buy the rumor, sell the news. Let's see what happens.
You got
there. I see a lot of volume came in on that first 3180s candle. A lot of volume came in there. Resistance playing at 3160, 3196 here. So I'm looking if we can get back above 32 and then a quick takedown. I'd like to short that. Qualcomm back into the green for me here. Just to state, as Qualcomm starts to work its way back, I'm going to keep working this position.
Teva breaking higher here. Teva taking 2 legs up here today. A nice volume pop on this last one that went up here too on Teva. Well, I didn't see any news for this. Is it possible? No, I still don't see any news for this. Anything fresh anyway. Teva having a nice day here.
All right, guys, just sold about, let's say from where I was, this is about two-thirds, or I would say a third of the position to make sure that I
let me get your
risk down. So I risked down there. I took like a small little gain to bring my share size back to 60. Why? Because I feel like we could pull back to 109.50s and then I can add there and really risk off of 109s. If I don't limit the risk here, when it comes back to that 109.50s, I'm probably going to stutter to try to add to it because I'm going to be deep into the red there. By bringing some of the size down, if I add there, I could still risk off the 109. So giving the market a chance to come back and get me deep into the green, or I could get at least a less risk by selling some here above my break-even price. So just bringing the risk down. If it just comes back to the green, hey, I can always add later in the day. But one thing I don't want to get caught is a pullback really quickly to 109 with full sizing here. Because the Qs just wash out to the downside there, and I get a quick washout. The Qs recover. If I see Apple starting to go strong, then yeah, I can start looking for ads. And same thing for Microsoft. It's fighting that 336.50s. VWAP around 336.75. Want to see it take 337. DKNG getting back there towards that 32. Q's coming back here. Just be careful too, right? If we don't reject, I'm probably not going to get short on DraftKings here. All right, guys, like always, you guys can check out Trade the Pool. We're going to keep pushing, of course, and you guys can always hit the QR codes. You guys see the QR code in the top right, or I'll make it really big here for you guys. Of course, we fund stock traders. We got a lot of you guys checking it out. So definitely hit the link up that's in the description below. I'll throw it up one more time in the chat. In a little bit, we'll start wrapping up. It's 10:49. It's been a tough day for me. I'm still in the red, but just slightly. But I have this one position, Qualcomm, that I've been going after, right? We'll see if it can actually get the Qs back into the green. And it's kind of like a buy the dip. We'll see if it's buy the dip. And I get to sell the rip a little bit later today. Qs could still reject. So I'm looking to see if this goes red. If it does go red, I'll probably get short on DraftKings, but I have different plays that I can go after now. Yeah, this DraftKings short looks like a good one for me. Feel like it could have trapped some traders today. Okay, Qs are struggling, man. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start, because since we're just struggling here, I think we could come back towards that 109. So at least establish what my risk to return is, right?
By the way, Mitch, the QR code is still up. Can you take it down? I'm not sure which one it is. And then also, by the way, I know we're getting ready to wrap up here. Bitcoin's selling off here.
Okay.
That might affect some of the other Bitcoin plays there.
You can maybe look at Mara, things like that. People were already looking at downside action turns for that. So just kind of naming some names off of that. You can take a look at Mara, names like that, Hut, to see if they could take a big hit.
Tesla looking like it's going to try to take out those pre-market highs. Remember, this is what we were talking about here. Last time I just took a look at it. Tesla looking like this might actually break and go higher. I have no position in this prop or regular account. We'll see where this ends up going. Alexa, good morning. How was the golf, by the way, from the weekend? I shot pretty well on Saturday. Morgan Stanley believes Tesla can go to 400. What do you think? So, yeah, I mean, look, I've thought Tesla is overvalued for several years. But over those several years, it has really just proven me wrong over and over again. Can this go to 400? Yeah, I mean, I think this stock is got such a following, it can probably be whatever it wants. Morgan Stanley, a pretty good firm. I generally take what they say pretty well. I think it could. No telling that it's going to. Take my opinion with a grain of salt. I can't seem to get Tesla pegged. Ooh, bull flag and HE now? Is that what we're saying, Dave? Let's go. Yeah.
Get after it.
You're right there, Dave. Good call. It's actually... Man, I'd love for a curl here for another attempt at 15 from Hawaiian Electric. That would be sweet. How's AMTX doing on that breakout? AMTX still going off that breakout. Man, should have played that.
What do you see in Bitcoin? Some people saying it's not selling off. Well, how is it down? How much is it down on the day?
I mean, it is definitely. I mean, it's down here.
Yeah, it's down. That's what I love. I love Benzinga Pro. You can check this out for yourself, guys.
It's down like right now, but recently, over the past couple of minutes here, it's actually really kind of accelerated. Yeah. You see why is my chart? There we go.
There you go.
Just took a little bit there. So this is what I'm talking about. This, when I looked over, the Bitcoin was about 25.6. It was testing 25. Looks like it didn't break through 25, bounced off that 25 level, but yikes. Big move down here. I guess pay attention to Riot and Mara. We'll see how those end up reacting.
All right, Qualcomm going into the green for me, so I might take a DraftKings short here. And that's just based off of going against the market, but I just feel like it's not wanting to get back above this 32. Just gave a little slight tick, couldn't hold there, and then could just flush down. So I don't want to miss the flush down. That's my thing here. At least Qualcomm back into the green here.
BLRX, maybe a move back towards the VWAP. If this can materialize, this would really need to move above 220 here. It's currently at 220 BLRX.
All right, I'm going to take a little bit of that DraftKings short there. You guys see me get a starter on here. DraftKings short. We'll see what happens with that position. I'm going to take the starter now. I can add to this one a little bit more as it starts to come back here towards the 32s. The big thing for me is looking at the Qs to see what happens on the day. We'll see what happens also in Qualcomm, right? Can I get back into the green on that one? I'm slightly green right now. I set the stop loss. We'll see if it starts to work. It can hold a little pullback towards like 109.20s. Definitely don't want it to go through the low of the day anymore. We'll see what happens there on Qualcomm. And like always, you guys can keep up with all the action right here on Benzinga. You don't got to go anywhere to get the action. Definitely smash the like. We got a lot more for you guys coming up. You guys will get, of course, the Trader Bacon show. And it looks like they're going to be having a good interview on there today. Special guest, CEO Daryl Martin. So don't miss that. That's coming up next. The Trader Bacon show, of course, where you see successful futures traders who have leveraged the power of trading funding to skyrocket their portfolios, of course, and minimize their risk. Daryl Martin, Apex Trader Funding CEO, will be on there. So if you guys want to check out a little bit of some futures trading, go ahead and check that out. That's coming up next. Any last words for the week, Ryan?
Let's just continue to be patient here. We should start to see the market trade on some higher volume as we go into the end of the year here. Let's not try to be a hero early. I am glad football's back. Mega sad about the Bears being a clown organization, but we're back here. We will try to extract money every day from this market. Mitch, tomorrow's a new one.
You got it, guys. I'm going to wrap up with a little promo here for, of course, Benzinga Pro. You guys check it out. You guys can always get a 2-week trial of Pro. Check it out, guys. And when you join up actually on Trade the Pool, we're soon to have Benzinga Pro just offered for you right there. So smash the like, guys. We'll see you next time right here on Live Trading with Benzinga. Catch me later today. My show, Start Swing Trade, starts at 3:30 p.m. Eastern. I want to see you guys over there. That's later today. Smash the like, guys.
Did you know that nearly all stock price changes of 10% or more result from a single news headline? In fact, a research paper from the Federal Reserve analyzed more than 900,000 news stories and concluded that positive news stories increase stock returns quickly. The key is getting access to breaking news live as it is happening. Benzinga Pro is the only streaming platform available to retail investors that provides the fastest live news feed in the market, so you can catch breakout stocks before they rally. Some recent winning alerts include 270% on BLPH in 4 days, 147% on CRBP in 2 days, and 118% on UNCY in 4 days. The way it works is simple. Every minute of the day, Benzinga Pro scours the market for news that moves stock prices. Not only does Benzinga Pro provide data to brokerages and other news outlets such as TradeStation, TD Ameritrade, MarketWatch, and Bloomberg. Subscribers get the same data plus real-time alerts to stay ahead of new stock rallies. But that's not all. You also get streaming stock news, trading signals, intelligent chat rooms, daily trade picks from professional traders, stock audio with real-time updates, a stock scanner to identify new rallies, and so much more. Basically, all the information and research tools you need to stay ahead of the market and in front of big stock moves. For a limited time, you can access Benzinga Pro for free for the next 2 weeks. Just click the button on this page, fill out the form, and join us. The next alert